Good evening everybody, welcome to our concept session and today's topic would be spellings. It's a very tricky topic if you ask me, right? Because for the most part you either know the answer or you don't know the answer. Of course there are a lot of rules when it comes to spellings, right? Very basic rules. When I say basic rules, things like if a letter is ending with, if a word is ending with Y, right, and if you want to add a suffix to it, right, you cut the Y and add an I, like for example happy, right? So when I want to add a suffix, whether it's ly or est, I say happiest, happiest or happily, right? Y gets cut and then I add an I to add a suffix. Now these sort of basic rules are good to know, but unfortunately we don't have such simple words in our exams, right? In our bank exams, you don't have words like happy and you don't have words like trap, for example, another spelling rule, right? If you want to add a suffix like a ed, like a past tense, you double the consonant, the last consonant, trapped, right? So very basic rules like this is good to know, right? No doubt about it. And it might help us like somewhere, sometime, right? If you are lucky, you might get a simple word and you might be able to get a mark in that. But unfortunately, in our exams, we have some complicated, complex words, right? Words that we have never come across, new and unfamiliar words, usually that sound like Greek and Latin to us. As it is, English words have been borrowed from Greek and Latin origin. So, what do? What sort of strategies that we fall back on when it comes to a concept like spellings? Now, what I can suggest is, or what's worked for me is obviously good knowledge on the pronunciation of the word. Now, this is one strategy that I can apply, but unfortunately, again, this particular pronunciation, knowing how the word is pronounced, may not be a strategy that I can apply for all the words, right? Because sometimes the way I pronounce it and the way I write the word, the way I spell it out is completely different. So I can't apply that strategy for all the words. Yes, it will work for some words, but not for all the words, right? So that is one strategy that I can look at. It will apply for some words, it will not apply for other words. Likewise, another strategy that we can fall back on is syllable breakup, right? Remember, if that was our first concept session, right? Syllables. We said that a syllable is one vowel sound. One vowel sound. A, e, right? One vowel sound. So if I know the syllable breakup of a word, that also might help me. Okay, to a large extent, in fact. I would say this is one step higher than pronunciation strategy, right? Another strategy is also to be aware of certain rules when it comes to suffixes. Okay, so what rules can I apply for words that end with tion? What rules can I apply for words that end with ment, sion, right? So there are certain rules for that. It's good to know because we have some 3-syllable, 4-syllable words. Obviously, when I take a word accumulation, right, I already have so many syllables in that word, accumulation, 5-syllable word, and it ends with tion. So I know that in my exam I usually get 3-syllable to 5-syllable words, right, which means 3 things. 1, yes, I need to know the pronunciation. It will work for some words. I should also be aware of the syllable breakup. That will come with practice, right? Because you'll have to, it's a little technical if you ask me. The syllable breakup strategy is a little technical, which means I have to be thorough with, okay, I need to be thorough with the vowel sounds. So that I break the word correctly, so that I get the spelling correct, right? And the third strategy is, yes, there are some rules around certain suffixes which I need to know. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some questions. We're going to see. So we might have to apply any of these 3 strategies when it comes to spellings, which has worked for me. But I also want to point out and say, for the most part, right, English is unreliable when it comes to spellings, right? If you watch any video, if you go online, most advice or recommendation that will be given to you is, boss, memorize the word, right? Write it down, make a note of like if you listen to anybody who's giving you some advice on, you know, how to ensure that you get the spelling correct, I'm sure at least one strategy will be like, hey, you need to write it down. You need to practice writing it down, right? That will be one of the strategies, invariably. Why? Because unfortunately in English, there are exceptions. Exceptions. I can't apply one strategy for everything when it comes to spellings, right? I'm not talking about other question types. So let's take a look at some questions. Let's try and see how we can apply these three strategies that I spoke about, and what do we need to do from our end. Like I said, you know, as a general tip, it is good to write down words, but how many words will I write down, right? There are so many words, and I don't know what words are going to come in the exam, so I have no clue, right? So that's like a, I don't know, long-term plan to get spellings correct, right? But somewhere we have to fall back on some strategy, right, which will help us. So let's do that. So let's get started. Let me show the PPT. Okay, the first word we have is culmination, right? Not a very difficult word. I'm sure you know this word, right? Culmination. Now there are two ways to look at it, right? This is not a very difficult word again. Can you identify how many syllables are there in this word? Let's break up this word. Just say it out. Culmination. And we know that, I also want to reiterate the fact that a vowel sound does not necessarily need to have a vowel in it. Are you following? A, E, I, O, U are my vowels. Great. But just because there is a vowel sound does not mean that vowel sound has a vowel in it. Okay, keep that in mind. And when we look at breaking a word into syllables, yes, there can be a vowel in the vowel sound, but it will be a vowel sound. Each syllable is one vowel sound. Okay, now going back. So culmination, tell me how many vowels, how many syllables are there in that? Let me help you. So I'm saying okay, nation. Okay, great. Right? So lucky for us, in this word, each syllable has a vowel, in fact. Right? Each vowel sound, each syllable has a vowel in it. There's A, there's I, there's U. Okay? Great. 4 syllables. Great. Now, you might already know this word, right? So which means it might be easier for you to identify what the answer is. However, just for you to know, okay, if the word is pronounced like station, it usually ends with the suffix tion. Let me give you other words. Keep in mind station. Okay, let's look at some words. Think of words. You know these words already. Nation, ambition, position, right? The pronunciation is the same as station, nation, ambition, position. And if you look at the suffix, everything is tion, addition. Yeah. Also, another way to look at, definitely the word ends in tion is when you have the suffix ate. For example, if I say donate or vacate, right, or create, rotate, educate, right, all these words, they have the suffix ate. This is just for your knowledge, okay. Most of the words that end with ate, right, they end with when you're changing them into a noun form, it takes up the suffix tion, donation, vacation, creation, rotation, education. And our word also, right, culminate, culmination. And if you notice, because of the syllable breakup, we know that it is not culmination, there's no I in between, there is no double L, and here again there is double L. So obviously our answer option is D, culmination, right? So in case, this is just like I said, sometimes what I'm trying to say is the basic spelling rule, like what I just shared, ate verbs, when you're changing it to noun, tion is what takes up the, you can convert that into that suffix. This knowledge is good to know. Will it be helpful in me identifying the right spelling in the question? I don't know. That's why I said some of our basic spelling rules are good to know. Okay, I know this. Great. Wonderful. Right? Can I actually apply that in my question to identify the right answer? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. You following what I'm saying? So that's why I always rely on the syllable breakup strategy. It's more precise and it's more accurate, right? It helps me get to the answer no matter what. Let's look at another one. Sacrilegious. Sacrilegious, right? Sacrilege, have you heard that word? Okay. Sacrilegious is basically, what can I say? Like you are disrespecting something that is sacred or holy, right? He performed a sacrilegious act at the altar, right? Which means it was grossly irreverent towards something that was sacred or holy. Okay, so going back to the context, I mean, look at the words here. Sacrilege, if I take that, let's look at the breakup, syllable breakup. Sacrilegious. Now, this is a good example of not relying on pronunciation. Why? Because if I look at religious, I know it's R-E, but sacral is R-I, not R-E, which means I can't apply the pronunciation rule for this one, right? I just need to know the syllable breakup and I just need to know the spelling of this word. There's no other way I can get the spelling correct. So for some questions, it's plain and simple. You either know it or you don't know it, right? Sacrilegious, it's S-A-C-R-I. So anything that has R-E is automatically eliminated and it's L-E. So the only thing that gives me L-E is B. Sacrilegious, S-A-C-R-I-L-E-G-I-O-U-S. Let's look at the next one. Silhouette. You know what a silhouette is, right? I'm sure you know what a silhouette is. Silhouette, so if I have to draw an outline of myself on this white background, right? And instead of anything that is there, my face, nothing, it's just a black image. So that outline with that black image is the silhouette, right? Like an outline. That's a silhouette. And I'm not too sure what the origin of this word is, right? It's definitely not a English word. I'm sure it's borrowed from some other language. And what do you think is and that's why some of these words that are borrowed, especially from other languages, spelling is completely different from how it is pronounced. Like if I go by the pronunciation of this word, silhouette, I will say S-I-L-O-O-wet, U-E-T, but that's not the spelling, right? Let's look at the options. Silhouette. The syllable breakup for you is sil, ooh, we have a H-O-U and everything anyways, except for D, silhouette, E-T-T-E. Okay, that's the breakup. So anything that has S-I-L-H-O-U-E-T-T-E. So there's no double E here, C is out. There's a double L here, D is out. In fact, I think there's an error here, A and B almost are the same. So let's say U is not here or something and pick A as our answer, okay? S-I-L-H-O-U-E-T-T-E. That's the right spelling. Yeah, again, this is an example of I either need to know the word or I cannot know the word. I mean, either I know it or I don't know it. Look at this one, ricochet. Ricochet is another example of pronunciation versus, what can I say, spelling, right? Completely different. This again is I'm sure it's a French origin word, ricochet. The T is silent in fact, so there is a T. The syllable breakup is ric, which has a vowel, syllable sound, ric-o, okay, and it's C-H-E-T. Again, it has a vowel, so it's a 3-syllable word, ricochet, with the pronunciation T is silent. So which one of that gives me the answer? Definitely not A or B. And D has ch sound there, richo, that's incorrect. So our answer is C, ricochet, ricochet. What's the meaning of ricochet? Anybody knows? Ricochet? Any idea? Like if I throw a ball on this board here, right? If it bounces and falls back, I can say the ball ricocheted off the wall. Yeah, to bounce back. Ricochet, that's what it means, to rebound at least once from a surface. Let's look at our next word. Paraphernalia. Paraphernalia. Paraphernalia basically means some sort of an equipment or some materials. So if you have people, let's say builders, okay, so they will have their own equipment and materials or whatever, right? So that equipment is called paraphernalia. What's the syllable breakup for this? Can you guess the syllable breakup for this word? Just guess it, no? Look at the way I'm pronouncing it, okay, and tell me how many syllables are there in this word. I mean, try and break up the word into the syllables that you think it has. Remember, one vowel sound. Let's see who gets this right. And keep looking at your options, okay? Keep looking at your options. You can eliminate the wrong answer option easily in this one. Yeah, so that's a 5 syllable, right? I have par, that's one vowel sound. F has a vowel there. Ne again has a vowel there. Lia, right? Paraphernalia. So anything that does not have nalia, paraphernalia pronunciation, this is a good example of a word where if I know the pronunciation, if I know the syllable breakup, I will get the spelling right, right? So obviously it's not paraphernalia, so I can eliminate option C and D, which has I after N, right? And again I have B also has E and not A. And anyway it says paraphrase. It's not PHRA, it's PHER. So our answer option is A, paraphernalia, paraphernalia, right? So honestly, if you ask me, a good knowledge on the syllable breakup as well as the pronunciation will get you to identify the right spelling accurately, right? And these sort of questions, it's not just applicable in SSC, we also have it in bank exams in a different version, right? Remember, you have these pick the right choice of word. It has to either be either the right word choice. I mean, you have to identify the error where it's an incorrect word choice or incorrect spelling, right? Either one of this. So in those sort of question types, again I have to identify if there is an error in spelling. And sometimes in our spot the error, I know we've transitioned from that. Earlier, I remember 3-4 years back, bank exams, they had very basic error types like spellings. Spellings also was part of, and that was the most overlooked error by most students, right? They would not look for that error. They're all thinking there's a complicated error there. So they'll be looking for prepositions and conjunctions and noun numbers and tenses and all of that. And then it'll be a spelling error. So that no longer is the case. We have variations of that have come into the bank exams. I'm sure you can relate to the pattern I'm talking about. I'm sure you know it. So let's look at our next question, which is malleable. Malleable is something that can be, it's almost like adaptable, something that I can change, something that I can adjust. Malleable. Can you break this word up, please, as per the syllables? Malleable, malleable, malleable. Break the word, okay? Mal, yes. Li, yes. Yes. B, right? So I have all of the vowel sounds. It's a 4-syllable word. And the option that gives me the right answer is definitely not C or A. Again, I'm sure there's a typo error because B and D are the same. So let's assume that A is not here and let's pick D. M-A-L-L-E-A-B-L-E, malleable. So let's move a little quickly. Obligatory. Obligatory, that's our next word, obligatory. You've heard, we've heard people pronounce this word differently as in incorrectly. Obligatory, it's incorrect, right? T-I-O-N, yes, obligation, because words that end with T-I-O-N, the syllable just before T-I-O-N I have to stress, obligation. But T-O-R-Y is different. You don't say obligatory. It's pronounced as obligatory, obligatory. So keeping in mind the way I'm pronouncing it, can you try and break that up? Break the word into syllables. Obligatory, 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 okay? Yeah. Remember, to and re are 2 syllables, right? Obligatory, obligatory, obligatory. So it's ta, a, and then re, the 2 syllables. So T-O-R-Y is again separated into 2. It's actually a 5-syllable word. Let's look at the breakup. It's obligatory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obligatory. Okay, and so obligatory. So having said that, which one is right? It's definitely not T-E-R-Y or T-A-R-Y. So I can eliminate A and B. And between C and D, the right one is C. Obligatory, right? D is again incorrect because it has E after G. Obligatory, right? Not get, not a sound, but a sound. I just want to spend some time on words ending in T-O-R-Y. Again, a quick tip for you. So any word that ends in I-O-N, okay, usually end with this T-O-R-Y or O-R-Y. So let me put that down. Words, this is a rule for you again, which will be helpful for spellings. So words ending in I-O-N, okay, and I'm talking about specifically English words, they end in O-R-Y. See, for example, let's take our word itself, obligation, right? It ends with I-O-N, right? And I know it has to be T-A-O-R-Y and not E-R-Y or A-R-Y, right? That's how I'm able to eliminate option A and B as wrong answer choices, because this word obligatory, it has a noun form that ends with I-O-N, right? Let's look at other words. Can you think of other words? See, for example, if I say contradiction, can you give me the O-R-Y suffix of this word? Or invention, or direction, explanation. I'm just giving you random words. So if you look at it, I-O-N, 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 and all of it end with O-R-Y, not E-R-Y, not A-R-Y, right? Contradictory, T-O-R-Y, inventory, T-O-R-Y. Are you following? Directory, T-O-R-Y, explanatory, T-O-R-Y. Yeah, so it's a good rule to know, right? And again, I keep stressing this, usually, mostly. Why? Because there'll be some word which has an exception. You following? Yeah. So when I have options like this, when I have words ending in O-R-Y in my spellings, right? See if I can relate it back to, can I add a T-I-O-N suffix? If I can add a T-I-O-N suffix, it's definitely T-O-R-Y and not T-A-R-Y or T-E-R-Y. Yeah? Good to know. Imminent. Imminent is an easy one. I'm sure you know what imminent is, right? What's the meaning of imminent? Right? We said this is not a very difficult word. Let's have the syllable breakup for this. Imminent. Very easy one. What is the common collocation that I can associate imminent with is imminent danger. Imminent danger means something that's about to happen, right? As a collocation, imminent danger. This is just for meaning something that is about to occur, about to happen. Okay, let's look at the syllable breakup for this word. Can I have the syllable breakup for this word? Imminent. Yeah, 3-syllable word, very easy. Anything that does not have any NT, I can eliminate, which is D and B. Between A and C, I know it's imminent, min and not men. So it has to be option A, imminent. Imminent. It's a 3-syllable word, yes. Yeah, this is an easy one. Imminent. Right? It's not imminent. It's not imminent. Okay? And it's not imminent. Imminent. Apprehension. Apprehension. There's a nice interesting rule when it comes to SION as well, which I'm going to share. But can you give me the syllable breakup for this? This again is not a very difficult word. What's the syllable breakup for this? Go with the sound, syllable sound. Apprehension. Apprehension we all know, right? You're anxious over, what could happen, what might happen. Some sort of a fear. Yes. Apprehension. 4-syllable words. Yes. Correct. Yeah. Now that we've broken this, and this may not be a difficult word. You might know the spelling already. But quickly, what I wanted to share is 2 things for suffixes ending with SION, okay? One is, it's not applicable to this particular question because I don't have, let me share the rule, okay? One thing is, when the ending comes after an L, see for example, if I have compel, Okay, and if I have to add a suffix to this, it will always be sion, compulsion. Or for example, expel, expulsion. Are you following? Or if I say propel, propulsion. And if you see the slight difference, the el becomes ul, compulsion, expulsion, propulsion, right? The el becomes ul and it always ends with sion. So if you in case have let's say for example you have compulsion, these are the options for this word compulsion. Okay, out of these 4 options, A, B, C, D, what will you pick as the answer? Because I know compel as a word ends with L, and if I have to add a suffix and make it a noun form, it has to be SION. So anything that with TION I will eliminate, which is A and B, right? And between C and D, I know it's not compulsion, it's compulsion. So it has to be option C, because we know the EL becomes UL and not AL. Are you following? So this is one rule, okay, when it comes to words ending with L, and the suffix will usually be an SION suffix. Another rule is, let me think, or I wanted to say another word also, revel, for example, revulsion. You see that difference? Another rule is, let's say for example, if the word ends with D or SE, for example, if I say immerse or if I say comprehend, right? So if the word is ending with D and the word is ending with SC, right? So if I have to add a suffix to it and make it a noun form, it will always be an SION form, immersion, not TION, comprehension, not TION. Yeah? Can you think of other words that end with SC? Diverse, diversion, SION. Or extend, ends in D, extension, SION. And our word also, right? The word given word. Can you tell me the given word? What will you change it to? Is it a word that ends with SC or D? Our given word, apprehension, SION, right? If I take off the suffix SION, what's the word? What the word ends with? That word. Can you give me the word? If I remove SION in my word apprehension, yes, apprehend, right? It ends with D. That's what I'm trying to say. Apprehend. So if a word ends with D or SC, usually when you're changing it to a noun form, it will take up SION suffix only. Another example, averse, SC, aversion. Yeah, okay. So let's move on. What was our answer for this one? Apprehension. So I need double P, C is automatically eliminated, and I know it is not TION, so boss B is eliminated, and A does not have I after S, so it has to be D, apprehension. Yeah, following? So these are some things that I want you to see. As we are going through certain words, we will look at some rules here and there, okay, and I want you to remember those rules because it's helpful, right? Ends with L, okay, SION, D or SC, SION, right? And we looked at a couple of other rules for TION. So I want you to remember them. For the most part, we will go with the syllable breakup strategy. Let's look at the next one. Tranquility. This is an easy word. You know this word. Can you give me so tranquil. To be tranquil is to be in a state of peace, quiet. So give me the syllable breakup for this word. Tranquility. What do you think is how many syllables does this word have? Tranquility. Tranquility, right? 4-syllable word, tranquility. So if you look at A and D, the I is missing after L. So I will eliminate that because that's a separate vowel sound, right? Tranquility, that is missing. And B and C, there's no double L here, tranquility. So C is out, B is right. So here for the most part again we've just applied syllable breakup and pronunciation. Tranquility. Alacrity. Alacrity. What's the meaning of alacrity? Alacrity means is to be eager about something, right? So if I say, hey, you know what guys, I want you to go ahead and write down all these rules that we've looked at in this session for spellings, and then Shreshi and Reshmi and Mamta come back and say they do that with alacrity, which means they do that with eagerness. Alacrity. So the way I'm pronouncing it, again, this is to do with syllable breakup. Listen to the sound, pronunciation, alacrity. How many syllables are there? Just write the meaning. The meaning is to be eager, to be willing to do something, cheerfully. Yeah, so it's yes, correct. Alacrity, that's the breakup, yes. Alacrity, 4 syllable. So it's not alec, so B and D out. The syllable sound, right? The syllable is incorrect. The sound, vowel sound is incorrect. Alacrity, and it's not alacrity, so A is out. Our answer is C, alacrity. Alacrity. Puissant, puissant. Again, this is definitely not an English word, right? The way it's pronounced itself, I know it's like a French word. Puissant. And most of these words, like, the last word is silent, like ricochet, right? T is silent. So, which means we have to know the spelling of this word. There's no other way to do this, right? Because my pronunciation is not going to help in getting the right spelling for this word. But I can look at the syllable breakup. It's very easy. Puissant. There's only, how many syllables are there in that? Check the word. Puissant. 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 That's it. There are only 2 syllables. Puissant. Okay. English, like the Americans, will pronounce it as puissant. Puissant, right? Because they don't know the French background to this. So, puissant. Puissant. Only 2 syllables, not 3 syllables. Let's look at it. The syllable breakup for this word would be P-U-I-S, and then it's S-A-N-T. Double S. So, anything that does not have a double S automatically is out, which is C and D, right? And in fact, it's not puissant, or it's not puissant, it's puissant, which means I have to have a I-S. Again, B says puissant, out. Our answer is A, puissant, 2 syllables. Okay. Graffiti. What's graffiti? Have you seen people drawing on the public walls, right? Some sort of an art or something where they're spreading some message through those drawings or art, right? They want the public to see that. And most of these graffiti are not government authorized, right? People want to just promote a particular idea or concept, or they want to highlight something, or they want to make the public aware of something, and you'll see all these artwork sometimes on the walls, right? That's called graffiti, drawings or art usually on the walls so that the public can see, but not necessarily authorized by the government. Yeah, so graffiti, how many? So just the way I'm pronouncing it, graffiti, how many syllables are there? I'm guessing it's not an English word, which means I can't go by the pronunciation. I can use the pronunciation to help me with my syllable breakup, right? So it's very difficult for me to choose between Y or I as the suffix. But just to put you guys at ease, it's a 3-syllable word. Graffiti. Yeah, 3-syllable word. Yeah, that you got right. It's a 3-syllable word. Graffiti, but it's not T-Y, it's T-I. So A and B is out. And between C and D, it's double F. Graffiti. So there's double F there, which is only available in D, and that's our answer. Graffiti. Graffiti. Graffiti does not necessarily only have to be on walls. It can be on any surface. Okay. Okay, let's move to the next word. Quiescent. Quiescent. Okay, how many syllables do you think this word has? Yes, it is confusing. In fact, this word is pronounced as quiescent. You tell me how many syllables? Quiescent. The word is pronounced as quiescent. How many syllables are there? Let me project the screen. Can you break it? What's the meaning of quiescent? It's basically, being quiet or inactive. Like a quiescent, shanti. Quiet, still mind. Quiescent, yes. quiescent. 3-syllable word, quiescent, quiescent. So it's not quiescent, A out. Again, quiescent, C is out. I have to choose between B and D. And if you look at it, again there's a typo. So let's say there's no I here in D. Okay, and that leaves us with B as our answer. Quiescent. Quiescent. Quiescent, quiescent. Still, inactive, motionless, at rest. Okay, this is pretty much the meanings. Bulwark, bulwark, bulwark. Bulwark is like a defense, like a wall, rampart. Okay, not an English word, but go with the way I'm pronouncing it. Very easy to break this word into syllables. Bulwark, bulwark. Tell me the syllable breakup for this word. Were you able to get it? Pretty easy. It's how many syllables? Yeah, 2 syllables. It's just bulwark. But the only thing is, even though it's pronounced as bulwark, right? It's not work, but it's W-A-R-K. So bal out. Between W-O-R-K and W-A-R-K, this again is a word, you either know it or you don't know it. Just like Ricochet and puissant, those sort of words, graffiti, right? These are definitely borrowed words from other languages. Okay, so we just can't rely on the pronunciation of these words to identify the right spelling. You either know it or you don't know it. Irresistible, very easy one, but still people make mistakes in easy words like this. Let's have the syllable breakup for this. Irresistible. Give me the breakup, guys. Irresistible, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5-syllable word. Irresistible. If this is the breakup, right? Let's look at our options. Anything that does not have double R out, which is A and D. Anything that does not have tibble, it's not table. So obviously that leaves us with C as our answer, because this one says irresistible. Incorrect. Irresistible. Tibble. So this is an easy one, just with, again, syllable breakup and pronunciation. C is our answer. Irresistible. It's not irresistible. Purely to do with pronunciation, you'll get it right. Accommodate. This is another easy one, but a lot of us get confused with, does it have a double C or a double M? Accommodate. How many syllables are there in this word? Accommodate. 4-syllable word. So now you know that it has to have double C and double M. So anything that does not have double C is out. Anything that does not have double M is out. Right? So that leaves us with A and B. What's the answer? Accommodate, not accomma. It's not ma, it's ma. Right? The O sound, not A sound. So which means A is out because it has an A here, and that leaves us with option B. Accommodate, accommodate, accommodate. Right? So sometimes these very simple words also, we get confused because maybe we're not using this word as frequently, right? So is it a double C or a double M, right? So these sort of easy words like irresistible, accommodate, also we tend to choose a wrong spelling only because we're not sure of the pronunciation or the syllable breakup. Acquaintance, this is another good one with respect to syllable breakup and pronunciation. Acquaintance, acquaintance. Listen to how I'm saying it, acquaintance. Can you give me the syllable breakup for this? Acquaintance. How many syllables are there in this word? 3 syllables, right? Acquaintance. That's it. Acquaintance. 3-syllable word. Which means if you look at the difference, right? Acquaintance. So which means it's not acquain. So C and D is out. It has I instead of A. Acquaintance, not acquain. And then between A and B, the only difference I see is E and C and A and C. So how is it pronounced? Is it pronounced as acquaintance or acquaintance? As in, it's like the T, the last, right, is pronounced as A-N-C-E, as in like buns, acquaintance, right? Acquaintance, 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 not like tense. Incorrect. Are you following? It's not acquaintance, but like buns, buns, tons, acquaintance, acquaintance, acquaintance. So pronunciation will help me get this right. Usually people tend to choose B because they think it's pronounced like tense, but it's not. It's pronounced like buns. Acquaintance, 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 not acquaintance. Got it? So pronunciation, a word like this, right? So simple words like I said, irresistible, accommodate, acquaintance, all of these words, if I know the pronunciation right, I will get the spelling right and I will not get confused. Liaison, 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 again, you know, definitely a borrowed word. Just the way it's pronounced is very French in origin, which means I either know the word or I don't know the word. But let's go with the syllable breakup. Liaison, liaison. It seems like it has a z sound, but all my options have s, which means I know it has, you know, it does not have a z or z in it. Liaison, it's pronounced like that. But how many syllables? Li, a, liaison, liaison. Okay. So 3 syllables. So it's not lie. It's not liaison, out, lie, but it's not shun as an S-I-O-N, so out. So what else is there? Lie, a. So it's just not A alone, there's an A-I there. So that leaves us with option B and not A, liaison. Again, an example of a word that you just have to know the spelling, right? This is a good example like Ricochet, puissant, and graffiti. I have to know the spelling. French word, liaison, L-I-A-I-S-O-N. Idiosyncrasy, idiosyncrasy, idiosyncrasy. Give me the breakup for this word. Idiosyncrasy again is a very, I think it's from Greek if I'm not wrong. I'm sure you know what a liaison is, right? Some sort of an intermediary, okay? Like connecting people, one that kind of maintains communication. Right? What about idiosyncrasy? Idiosyncrasy. Do you want to try the syllable breakup for this word? Idiosyncrasy. How many syllables? Break it. The only confusion for you will be between the suffix. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Let's see if you can break it up. Just go with the pronunciation alone. 6. Let's have the breakup. A, D, yo, sin, cra, si. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that is correct. A-D-O. So anything that has, everything has idio, 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 right? And then I have sin. S-Y-N, 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 that also is there. So which means the remaining part, kra, it's not K. So anything that has a K is out. And it's not craxy, it's C. So it's not X, this is out. So if I have to choose between B and D, the answer is S-Y. Right? This again, I will not know. Okay, whether it's SY or CY, so I can't go with the pronunciation, right? Because I have words that end with CI and SY pronounced the same way. Idiocy, lunacy, CY. Right? But its pronunciation is the same. Right? Idiocy is with a C, lunacy is with a C. So, but idiosyncrasy also is with a C, but it's not CY, it's SY. Okay, we're gonna stop here. What I'd like for you to do is definitely I'll try and see if we can get more such rules, right, with respect to suffixes like SION, TION, MENT, ITY. So that will help us, because even if it's a 3 to 5 syllable word, we'll still be able to figure out something or in terms of some rules. But for the most part, if you looked at it, we did not just rely on syllable breakup and pronunciation, because pronunciation, we couldn't apply it for all the words, right? Like some words, usually words that are derived from Latin or Greek or French, the pronunciation is different, the spelling is different, right? Ricochet, puissant, puissant, graffiti, liaison, right? So those words, you either know it or you don't know it. And the best thing to do is to write it down. See, I'll give you another tip Just like how you revise or you practice for spellings, when you come across these words that are derived from other languages, it's better to write it down, because writing will help build memory. You can recall from memory. That's a good way to retain memory, writing it out. In fact, that is one of the strategies that will be suggested by any good teacher, trainer, right? In terms of spellings, it's good to write it down, so you will remember it. Writing things down helps retention. So that's something that I would advise you to do as a tip. But for the most part, listen to a lot of good podcasts, right, where you'll know that they are pronouncing the word correctly, right? And also, I wouldn't say read a lot for spellings, because unless you write it down, it's not going to help for spellings, right? Just reading will not help spellings. Writing will help spellings, on the other hand. So just for us to do a quick recap, yes, it's good to know the basic rules, but there are some rules that we discussed here in the session, which I hope you will remember and retain. And try and apply that in other words as well, right? And always remember that there are exceptions as usual. But apart from that, it's also good for you to know the syllable breakup and the pronunciation. Okay, that will help to a large extent when it comes to spellings. So with that, thanks once again, guys, for actively participating. I'll see you guys in the next session. Until then, keep practicing, stay focused, and take care. Bye.